to Tamara, who is an amazing person. And when you think of Alberta, if you're like me and you're from Vancouver, you think of Alberta as full of, shall we say, conservatives, people who aren't very progressive. But this is proof that the culture exists here, and Tamara has done an amazing job of bringing the culture together. The Southern Alberta cannabis community has come together, and you're not here just to help support her and the activism in this province. You're here tonight to help support my husband, Marc. As Dana did a great job explaining, my husband, Marc, is known as the Prince of Pot around the world because he sold marijuana seeds and funded the movement. Over $4 million he spent in a decade giving money to court challenges, to legal lawsuits against the government for defending medical marijuana patients, opening compassion clubs, the Saskatchewan Marijuana Party, BC Marijuana Party, US Marijuana Party, California Marijuana Party. These were all created by Marc. And like Dana said, without Marc, you wouldn't be reading High Times or Skunk or Cannabis Culture or Treating Yourself. Smoking out of a bong. You wouldn't be allowed to do any of that. In fact, the punishment was worse for possessing the knowledge of marijuana than actually possessing marijuana itself. Change that. Marc helped Canada become so progressive that people thought Canada was legal. People thought Canada was where marijuana was freely available. But it's not, and it's getting worse. And my husband's arrest in 2005 by the US government on Canadian soil put a chill through this country. Because it said that if you're doing something that offends the US government, and you're not even in that country, they will come and take you out of this country and try to destroy your life. They threatened him with 30 years to life in prison for selling seeds through the mail. But they admitted on the day of his arrest, it wasn't about seeds. They never even mentioned seeds. They said he was a leader of a legalization group, and that marijuana legalization activists had less money now that he was taken down. So they made it very clear why they went after Marc Emery, and they thought they were going to stop the marijuana movement, but they haven't. California and the US and all around the world, we're seeing people are trying to rise up and fight back so that things like what happened to Marc don't happen to anyone else. And Marc's lucky that he was able to get a plea deal for 5 years, but to have to say that it's lucky to get 5 years in US federal prison in Georgia makes me sick to my stomach. This should never have happened. Marc is trying to get transferred home to Canada, and that's my campaign right now. And it's very important in the conservative heartland to contact your member of parliament. It's totally easy, totally free. You call the office, they say, "Hi, Stephen Harper's office," and you say, "I'm calling about Marc Emery, and this government has got to bring him back to Canada." And she might ask for your name or number. You can give her whatever info you want. But call them and let them know that Canadians give a damn. Because they do, but they don't speak up enough. And that's why our country is being taken over by what seems to be some sort of fascist dictatorship, destroying our democracy, spending billions of dollars on prisons that they want you to be in. There are people in this room who will go to prison now that the Senate has passed Bill S-10 and the House is about to vote on it. Our government is putting mandatory minimums into place, and mandatory minimums are what put Marc away and what put millions of people away for life and for long terms for marijuana while rapists walk. You hear about marijuana growers losing their kids, losing their job, losing their house? That's bullshit. How come the murderer doesn't lose his house and his job and his kids and his right to travel? And then why are the marijuana people suppressed? Well, Marc's arrest tells you why. You use marijuana, you become a free thinker. You no longer listen to the liars in government. You don't listen to the police, the priests, your teachers, your parents. You know that it's all a lie, and you become aware and start questioning government. And that's why in the 60s and 70s, the anti-war protesters were the marijuana smokers, and they were targeted by the government because they want peace. We want peace. There are people here who are facing prison time for their medicine. All we're asking for is to leave us alone. Leave us alone. We are hurting nobody. And my husband, Marc, never hurt anyone. and he is suffering in a prison where there are 6 Canadians, 700 Mexicans, all the staff are black, nobody knows what's going on. It's a brand new prison. It's horribly depressing to be in a place like that, so far from home, and to not know if it's going to be a year or 4 or more before you get back. So please, please help me bring my husband home, and that's what Tamara's holding this fundraiser for. We've got a lawyer to fight because we need to free Marc. We need to bring him home, and we can do this. We just have to get the Canadian government to agree to bring him home. It's so easy. Go to cannabisculture.com or freemarc.ca, or it's really easy to remember, Google Marc Emery. Google Marc Emery, Google Prince of Pot, you'll find the website. It's so easy to do so little, but it helps so much. And I sincerely appreciate you all for coming out tonight, helping the cannabis community in Alberta, helping my husband Marc Emery, and helping yourselves, because when you give back to the movement gives back to you. So one day we'll all be sitting here